What that looks like is this term or these phrases that people use. And Adam and Kelly have both picked up on it. It's these kind of things where people say, well, I did this, so I deserve to have this issue. See, that's proclaiming something upon yourself or agreeing with something or thinking you deserve what you get. And, you know, the good thing about Jesus is he really does forgive sins, and he really wants to show one of the ways that he forgives sins is by healing the soul and restoring the body. The next one is this. Now, this is in the natural realm. You can have what we call family problems going on. These aren't hereditary things, genetics. I'm talking about your social stuff that's going on. People can become in pain can come into their life through family. It could be physical abuse, it could be sexual abuse, it could be emotional and verbal abuse. These things affect people. Now, today what the Lord has done very graciously is he's shown several aspects of how he does healing. We've seen him physically heal, we've seen him address emotional things, and we've seen him address things that go on in the church. He's come and decided he wants to heal among us, and what we have to do is we have to have what we call a holistic view of people. And what I mean by that is God doesn't just come and heal physically and leave the soul untouched. Or God doesn't come and just heal the soul and leave the spiritual untouched. Or God doesn't just heal us spiritually and leave the body and the soul untouched. This is called an integrated healing model we're working on. How does God heal the whole person? Okay? And we'll find this out as we do this today. A lot of times God gives a word of knowledge about a knee condition, and then you start praying for him, and you're praying about something that happened to him 20 years ago. And you're like, why did we start with the knee, and God's going to when they were 7? And now we're talking about how they are unforgiving stuff, because God wants the person completely restored, not just their knee better. Okay? All right, the next thing is this. We have what we call emotional, this is in the natural realm, emotional problems. This could be psychosomatic illnesses, just as we talked about it. It's amazing. We went through a season in Kansas City where in our healing rooms when we were praying for people, we just had, like we did earlier, people that were just struggling with depression. And you'd be amazed on, we were amazed on how each one of them had a source that was different from the other one. Some people literally had an organic problem, which means their physiology isn't working properly. They have a deficiency with something or something's going on in that arena. And when we'd pray for them, it was a physical thing God was having us do it. Other people, they had the way they thought about themselves and condemning themselves. It was an emotional a way they thought about them. And other people, we ran into demonic spirits. It's main issue, but it's 3 different sources that it was coming from. And we have to recognize that. Okay, another one is this. We have the social one. This is where we harbor ill feelings towards people or unforgiveness. You know, just as one person walking with the Lord as another one, I'm amazed on how important forgiveness is. Jesus talks about it. He talks about the importance of it. When you really get into dealing with things in people's lives, physical, spiritual, or emotional, you kind of run into about 70 or 80% of the time you're running into unforgiveness issues of some sort going on in a situation. I think that's why Jesus is so intense on you need to learn to forgive people, and you have to do it intentionally. All right, the supernatural realm. Well, we find out this. Demons bother people, Christians and non-Christians. The Greek word, again, for it's not the King James Version, they probably back in the time when they wrote it, it probably meant something to them in the sense of they understood it better, but it does not translate well into today's language in this sense. There is no word in the Greek New Testament for demon possession. It's demonization. Okay? So you have, I always put it on a scale of this, 0 to 10. So 0 would be like being oppressed or the enemy harassing you or trying to make you think thoughts that you don't want to think. And then you have the Gadarene demoniac that's around 8 or 9 where demons are manifesting their power and he's tearing his body and running through graves and stuff. The person at 1 or 2 is not demon-possessed, and the Gadarene demoniac is not demon-possessed. They're demonized. It's just degrees, okay? Now, how do you learn if what you're praying for is a demon? I think that's a fair question. Don't you guys think? Well, what you do is you spend 3 years going through a course on demonology and spiritual warfare. And then you don't worry if the Lord leads you into it. You take everybody down to the ground and you drive about 50 demons out of them, and then that's it. It's what we call the shotgun approach. All right? So when people come to you, and it doesn't matter if they have a demon or not, you just kind of blow a hole through 50 different demons, And then you think, well, now let's move on. Now, does that sound the way we should do it? You're laughing, you're thinking, who does that kind of stuff? Well, I did that kind of stuff. I learned about demonization. I thought, I don't know if there's a demon or not, so let's just deal with it. So pretty much I'd have them on the ground. I was driving out every demon I thought they had. I mean, some of them were even named Bob. And so, I drove out the demon Bob out of somebody. That's a joke. And when I got done, I saw this effect in the ministry I was doing. You know what the effect was? They'd have to go start seeing a counselor now because they couldn't believe they had that many demons in them. Well, they didn't. I just did really bad ministry for a long period of time. I mean, I just stopped doing that right before I came out here.